The New York Rangers managed to get a very nice 4-3 win in this very crazy game against the New Jersey Devils, and honestly, this was a wild one from the start right to the finish. Obviously, right off the bat there, we see 5 fights. Matt Rempe versus Curtis McDermott, a pretty heavyweight matchup there. Then you see Barclay Goodrow versus Kevin Ball, Keandre Miller versus John Marino, Jimmy Vesey versus Curtis Lazar, and Jacob Trouba versus Chris Tierney. I mean, you see some heavyweight fights here, some lightweights. It was a pretty crazy game here. We saw 5 fights right off the bat there, and then not too long after that as well. Later on in the first period, we see Will Cooley fight Dawson Mercer as well. So 6 total fights in this one. Pretty wild there. A ton of penalty minutes were handed out from both teams, obviously, but overall, pretty entertaining game here as well. Rangers get the win here. A very nice 2 points here as they continue to separate themselves from the Carolina Hurricanes, who are right now in second spot in the Metropolitan Division. 5 points back of the Rangers right now with 1 game in hand. But finishing at the top spot in the Metropolitan Division and the Eastern Conference is very important, because that means you would obviously avoid playing the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round, who are right now the first wildcard spot. So if you finish second in the Eastern Conference, but top of the Metro, you're playing that first wildcard spot, which right now would more than likely end up being the Lightning, if not probably the Leafs. So both those teams, they're pretty tough teams. You definitely want to avoid in the first round. But if you finish at that top spot in the Metro and the top spot in the Eastern Conference, then you end up playing the second wildcard spot, which right now would end up being potentially, the Red Wings, Capitals, a few other teams kind of battling there right now as well. The Flyers are in that mix as well. But in general, you want to avoid playing the Lightning or Leafs. And obviously, you'd much rather play the Flyers, Caps, or Wings in the first round. But carrying on here, taking a look at this game, we saw a bunch of goals scored in this one, a bunch of fights, a bunch of good saves. I mean, this was an overall just a very entertaining hockey game. But as a Rangers fan, though, I don't necessarily love seeing this many fights in a game, considering we had guys play a lot more ice than they really should be at this point in the season. You want to see guys stay fresh, stay healthy. But in this one, since there was so many fights, so many guys got kicked out really early on in this one, you had a lot of guys have to play a ton of minutes. I mean, for example, on the decor side of things here for the Rangers, you had Adam Fox and Eric Gustafsson both play over 29 and a half minutes in this one. You do not need to see that late in the regular season game, but unfortunately, that's what happened here because of the fights. You also have another 2 D-men here, obviously, because we only had 4 for pretty much the entire game, with Lindgren and Braden Schneider. They both had over 27 as well, so not ideal there. You also had a couple forwards get way up there in the 20s as well, in the low 20s. So not ideal for the Rangers there. A lot of ice time for some of these guys. You want to see them stay fresh, but unfortunately, because of the fights, they obviously can't. So it is what it is. The Rangers still get the 2 points here, which is important because, like I said, you want to finish at the top spot in the Eastern Conference, but obviously, the amount of ice time some of these guys played is not ideal. You want to see these guys stay more fresh. So we will see, I'm sure, some of these guys take some rest down the stretch here, try and get geared up and ready for the playoffs, which is obviously what matters most. This is just another regular season game here. It doesn't matter a whole lot. This team has already clinched the playoffs. We're going to make it. It's just about getting ready for the playoffs now. That's what matters most. Taking a look at the goals in this one, to get things started, we saw Artemi Panarin get a goal assisted by Alexis Lafreniere and Adam Fox. Panarin and Lafreniere have just been amazing this season, so it's very nice to see them get connected on another goal here in this one. Then later on in the period, we saw Alexis Lafreniere get a goal as well, so we had a goal and an assist in this one. He was phenomenal once again. I mean, he's just been playing absolutely fantastic, especially in the second half of the season, it feels like. Then you have that goal assisted by Alex Wenberg and Jack Roslovic. Then, though, going on to the second period, up 2-0, the New Jersey Devils decide to get the goal scoring going for them as they get 3 goals in a row here in the second period. Andre Palat gets things started for them, assisted by Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes, the 2 Hughes brothers. Then you see the second goal scored by the Devils there. Former New York Ranger Brendan Smith, he scores assisted by Jesper Bratt and Timo Meier. And then the third goal and final goal for the Devils in this one was Nico Hischier getting one assisted by Jesper Bratt. So, not bad there by the Devils. They get a few goals there, obviously make the comeback, get the lead, but then we go into the third period where Kaapo Kakko scores an unassisted goal, and then we see later on with just under 5 minutes left in the third period, Chris Kreider scores a nice power play goal there to make things 4-3 Rangers. That ends up being the game winner as well, assisted by Adam Fox and Artemi Panarin. So another multi-point game for Panarin there, another multi-point game for Adam Fox, and another multi-point game for Lafreniere. All 3 of those guys have been phenomenal this season, especially Lafreniere. He keeps getting, his higher and career highs. He's got a career high in goals, assists, and points this season. He has been absolutely phenomenal. Same thing with Panarin. They have just such great chemistry together. I can't wait to see what they can do come playoff time. But overall, just a great win here by the Rangers. And in net was obviously Igor Shesterkin, who, although didn't have the best numbers, I don't think he played too bad. He stopped 17 out of 20 shots. Some of those goals, you definitely can't really blame all on him, so I wouldn't be too mad at Igor in this one. He played all right, made some good stops, but in general, a nice win here for the Rangers and a good 2 points as they remain at the top of the entire NHL and are one of the best teams in the entire league. That's going to do it for this video. If you have enjoyed, please smash the like button. Don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on this nice 4-3 win for the Rangers, and also don't forget to subscribe for daily New York Rangers content.